All right there, guys and girls. Welcome back to the Mouse and His Pals YouTube channel. We are doing a WandaVision episode 6 sort of review, little chat. I've got Jamie and James with me. How you doing, fellas?
Good. Yeah, good.
And we've got a special guest with us today. I believe James is probably your best mate. We've got Dan with us as well. How you doing, mate?
All right, mate. Yeah, I'm all good. Thank you.
I generally forgot your name for about a second then and looked at the screen.
It's
and your name is
on my name tag.
What is his name? Right. We all good, yeah?
Yeah,
good. Yeah, the weekend.
Excellent. Let's discuss WandaVision episode 6. Personally, I thought it was another cracking episode. What was your thoughts on it?
I think it's not as good as episode 4 and 5, but still a very good episode that's building upon what we know.
It's going to be one of those days. Dan, give me your thoughts.
Typical Jamie.
So far, best episode has been 5. This on par, maybe a little bit, not as good, but almost on par. Just the ending, I think, brought it. If the ending didn't happen, it might not have been as good. But yeah, the ending kind of brought it back up to scratch. But we needed the episode, obviously, following on from what happened in the last episode. Like a lot of fan service, I think.
Yeah, I think we get to find out a little bit more in this episode. There's a few answers given to us. Obviously, the stuff about Monaco going through the force field. We know a bit more about that. Is Hayward? We know he's not sort of who we thought he was going to be. So there's a few more things in there, but definitely a good episode. I probably agree. I still think 4 is my favourite, but it's up there. What was your thoughts, James?
I did enjoy it, actually, to be fair. I think it was cool to see a bit more of the kids getting a few of the powers coming through. I liked the aesthetic of their sort of costumes, sort of looking a bit more like the comic. I don't know anything about the comic whatsoever. I know that's how they looked. Because I had a little look, because it did look quite like familiar. So I had a little look, and it was good to see that they did design it on that. Still a bit confusing, but then I know that is what we're supposed to feel. I was a little bit surprised by the end that what's her name? Who's the character?
Darcy.
Yeah, that she got dragged into the hex. I didn't see that happening. That was a bit of a surprise for me. And I'm intrigued to see where that's going to go with her that side now.
Yeah, I've got my thoughts that this is going to be their first exploration into the X-Men, because you do hear the thing about X cells mentioned when I was talking to Monica. So it instantly was like, you don't just say that unless Marvel. What I've learned to think now is Marvel don't just say something for the sake of saying it. There's normally a reasoning behind everything. So to say X cells instantly made me think, yeah, that's a link to the X-Men, and it kind of explains how loads of people start to get mutant genes. So that was my first thought with that.
I think might have said it last week. We've definitely said it to each other. If you go back through Marvel as a whole, with including comic books, Wanda and Quicksilver, I can't think of his name, Pietro. Are actually mutants. We know that through the comic books. The way Marvel have done it through the MCU is not right via the comic book way of how they're made into their powers. So we know there is some X-Men now. The only reason we know, the only reason they're different is because Marvel at the time had to sell off a lot of their properties. Sorry. But is it Sony that's got X-Men, or is it Fox that's got X-Men? It's Fox. Fox had X-Men, and they bought the X-Men, obviously had the X-Men franchise, and they could have used Wanda as well as Quicksilver, but they wanted Wanda and Quicksilver in Marvel as well. So they just couldn't, if I remember rightly, Marvel couldn't pronounce that they were mutants because of the X-Men, and X-Men couldn't say anything about Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the same way. So there's definitely going to be some intertwining there, I believe, as we go forward.
I also think he's a better Quicksilver. I much prefer him as a Quicksilver. I just think he's more comedic. I like Aaron Taylor Johnson as an actor, but this Quicksilver, what I like about him when I've watched the X-Men films and I've watched him in this, there's the comedic value when he has his scenes in the X-Men. it's not just quick, it's a whole set piece. There's still comedic value to it. I think he's so much better, I personally, on a level which I don't think all fans agree with.
I think he actually makes the episode.
Yeah, he was quite good. I was going to say, do you know what? I think it's quite hard to judge really on that, because he's written differently. Whereas the guy Aaron that plays the other Quicksilver, or whatever his name is, Pietro, he's not supposed to be a funny character, is he? So you're kind of judging someone against a completely different character, really.
Yeah. Again, that's the whole point of this multiverse stuff, which over the next year, I looked it up. Doctor Strange comes out March 2022. So we've got a year from now where we're going to learn so much about this.
Is it weird that when you hear 2022, I think like 2 years away, when in reality that's next year?
Yeah.
Like,
it's mad. We're a year away. There's so many good films coming out. For Love and Thunder's next year. Spider-Man's meant to be December. You got the Eternals this year. You got so much coming over the next sort of 18 months where Marvel's just going to go massive.
We're the kings.
Yeah. Just talk about the two kids. So as you said, James, they're starting to get their powers. Do you think they'll play a bigger part in the MCU going forward?
Yeah, but I think we'll get a time jump again. I don't think them as kids will have much part to play other than what they did in this episode. But I wouldn't be surprised if the next episode is a bit more in the future.
Yeah, fair enough.
The thing I laughed about this episode, because I know James moans about it, is when they mentioned the accents. First thing I thought about when they mentioned the accents was that's going to please James.
You know, that makes me happy though, because I've acknowledged it.
At least they make some. Yeah, they make some.
It's the whole crap where they try and pull the wool over your eyes that I don't like.
But if you remember the episode when Wanda breaks through and says, "Oh, does this belong to you?" She's got a Sokovian accent back.
Yeah.
When she says that, and obviously towards the later stages, like Endgame, Infinity War, she didn't have as strong an accent. They're trying to imply that she's been living in America for quite a while, lost it a little bit. But again, obviously with Aaron Taylor Johnson's Pietro, was obviously quite strong. And obviously everyone was like worried, what's going on? Is Evan Peters, should he put an accent on? I don't know. But if you're going back to like the comedic aspects, when Aaron Taylor Johnson was dropping some one-liners in Age of Ultron, it didn't really sit well. Like, I don't know. And then I try and imagine like Evan Peters doing that whole film just with Evan Peters instead, maybe with a slight accent. I just feel like, what Jamie was saying, he would have been better from the word go. But
I also love the kick-ass reference. Because that was brilliant, because everyone forgets that everyone knows Aaron Taylor Johnson's in Kick-Ass, but everyone forgets Evan Peters is in it because he doesn't play that big a role. He plays Ass Kick. So I actually love that reference because they're two of my favourite films.
It's the fact that they got Elizabeth Olsen to say it. Olsen to say it. I wasn't expecting maybe Darcy like watching the TV screen on Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
Did anyone?
I got it. My missus didn't get it.
Did anyone clock onto what sitcom we were meant to be in?
Yeah, I've read about it.
What was that?
Two of a Kind from Nickelodeon as well.
No, it was Malcolm in the Middle. Yeah, I didn't clock onto it until actually.
I thought it was something like in the 90s anyway. The commercial style.
The thing I got told, though, when I was reading up about this after is read up about the lyrics to the song. So the song that was played, like, you know, the theme tune, the lyrics, like what was said, actually imply what Wanda's doing. So like her having control, which is such a small detail that I didn't pick up on.
Hang on, I think I actually have that the lyrics here. Yeah, it's a new week of WandaVision, which means a new time period and visual style borrowed from an iconic family sitcom, and of course a new theme song. The theme song goes, "Don't try to fight the chaos. Don't question what you've done. Some days it's all confusion, easy come and easy go. But it's all an illusion. Sit back, enjoy the show. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going through each distorted day. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Though there may be no way of knowing who's coming by to play." So that are the lyrics. Which, is very interesting.
It was weird when all the kids just sort of appeared from nowhere, and like
It's good how it's referenced.
That's Vision. That's Vision asking there's no kids, and then so it shows that she's controlling some of it at least.
I think she's controlling all of it, apart from maybe. Sorry, I think there's someone overwatching, but letting her take control of what she thinks, but then dropping in people like Pietro. Like, I've seen a rumor that Pietro is actually Mephisto, which I wouldn't write off. I think it's potentially going to happen, but I do think she's got control. I think this episode shows you that she is slightly big. She is a threat because of the expansion of the Hex.
Well, I'm quite glad you brought that up about Mephisto, because there is a line in there which really shows
the last
Mephisto
one
could be. No, it's not the last one. It's Pietro and they're doing the trick or treating.
I thought you meant in the song. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, they're doing the trick or treating, and he says, as the two kids are off going as quick as possible, "Godspeed, devil spawn." And
yeah,
as we know, Mephisto. The two kids are actually part of Mephisto's soul, technically, via the comics. So that is quite an indication, I believe, that we could finally know our villain going forward.
Do we also kind of think this episode also shows maybe Agnes as Agatha Harkness? Because I'm less confident on that now.
I think the fact that she was dressed up as a witch...
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of... But there's... I think she's playing Vision. I think she plays Vision in a way there to say that there's obviously a bit more of a problem what there is. I don't think she's as mentally fucked as we think at that point. But it does. You're right. You're right. It does show that maybe she isn't who we think she is.
I think this is the genius of Marvel. They could easily be leading us down a path that we think is so obvious. Like, this is that, this is that, this is that. And then we get there and we go, oh, in reality, it was the other road that whole time. She was just a nobody. But I think the name was the thing. If the name weren't Agnes, I don't think people would be making this link.
No,
myself included.
I think they might even pull the rug from under our feet anyway, right at the last minute. Like you said, I don't really know. But I was saying to James the other day about, I think it was episode 4, when Jimmy was putting all the names up of all the actors in the play. You'd never see Agnes. She's never up. You never get her real character, and obviously she's a big actress anyway. She's been heavily advertised for all the promotion for it, so she's going to play a big part in it eventually. It's just, could she be Mephisto? Could she be Agatha Hart? No one really knows, but she's definitely going to be something integral to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Just got to wait.
For sure. Let's talk about Visions. Actually, I want to talk about one more line from Pietro. He says something about Shangri-La. Does any of you know what that is?
I just literally, before I came on here, I just read about this. Yeah.
Was this about Shang-Chi? Was that me just maybe thinking, Shang-Chi?
No. Go on, Dan, as you had a little read.
Yeah, it's a heavy, forgotten storyline with Vision, where the people have, he finds Shangri-La, and obviously because who he is, they kind of worship him as a god in a way. I didn't read too much into it. I didn't really have too much time, but I kind of saw a couple of strips from the comic. Yeah. And it's heavily influenced by that. I mean, that again, could that be a spin-off? Is it going to be a part of WandaVision? I don't really know. But that's
can't see it. I think it's just a bit of a throwback to the comics. In my opinion, that's what that would be, because we know Vision's dead. Could see him again breaking up, and we'll come on to that a bit more. I can't see Vision playing any more part in the MCU as we go forward.
After this series, do you mean?
After this series.
I agree with that. I personally agree.
Because he's dead. And that's the same, I think, now with Pietro. We've seen him with the bullet holes in him as well. So that's why I think it's just a shout out to the comic book, shout out to say we are going to go sort of into this realm even deeper at points. But I think it's definitely... Go on.
You know, they've basically confirmed that there's another guest star coming into the show. There's
I'd do anything for it to be Fassbender.
I've got my thoughts on that.
I would. It makes sense though, wouldn't it? Because
I've basically, I don't know if anyone else picked up on it. Monica's obviously texting someone. Yeah, so I've got someone an aerospace engineer, the only aerospace engineer in the Marvel universe is Reed Richards.
Yeah,
is that the guy that was opposite Iron Man?
No.
The Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four. Right. Yeah. Mr. Fantastic, and apparently John Krasinski's like a big, like everyone wants him. Everyone that he's like positioned to play it sometimes, and apparently he had a meeting last year with Disney, not long after the Fox merger, and it's like will he, won't he? But it's going to be next episode that something's going to pop up. And they did say there'll be a big reveal.
A lot that it's John Krasinski, and apparently Emily Blunt will play Mrs. Fantastic.
Susan Reed,
just perfect. So my mate, who loves Marvel Star Wars, who I text every so often, he sent me a photo, and it's a tweet who someone put out when John Krasinski is the only actor who could show up in the MCU and everyone would know who he's playing, costume or not. Literally, if he showed up, literally in just a suit, people would go, "That's me."
There's loads of fan art as well, and he looks like amazing.
The thing
I would be so pumped for that.
If the other person they need to get in then is Zac Efron as the Human Torch, because that bang. He's actually a good actor now, so I would be well on board with that.
I wouldn't mind that. But yeah, him, John Krasinski as Reed Richards, or Fassbender as Magneto. They're the one of the two. I can't see it being Fassbender, but that'd be massive.
But then going back on that, they did start to mention when they were sitting down and having a conversation. Oh, do you remember when Mum and Dad used to take us? You didn't really hear about their parents, only that they died. But actually, there's a reason why they're talking about them. So yeah, it could go down that route. It might not be Fassbender. It might be Magneto. But
do we know who the mum is at any point during X-Men or the film?
I can't remember what.
I've not read it and I can't place it. Obviously, we know Magneto is technically, and I'll do it like that.
I'm pretty sure it's just a random woman who just falls in love with him, and I think she dies at child. As far as I can remember, I don't really know, but I don't think that the mother's important.
Fair enough. Let's talk about Vision and Vision's part in this episode. We obviously see him at the start. He's dressed up as Vision from the comic books, as James pointed out. He says he's helping out the community, what they call not policing teams, but like anti-vandals team.
Anti-terrorists.
Anti-terrorists. Kids are terrorists. But then we find out he's not there, and he's actually going deeper into. Was it Ellis
Avenue?
Ellis Avenue, Ellis Street. Yeah, something like. What's your thoughts on all that?
I think the real thing for me, it showed that he's Wanda's not really got control over him. Because you looked at all the other episodes up until episode 5, and you felt like she was controlling him. She still could, like, in essence, make him do. Episode 5, you started to see him question what she was doing. And then in this episode, there was no real thing of her having control over him. He was doing everything off his own back. And I don't know if that's because she's losing her powers, or if that's because the person who I think is overall in control allowing him more freedom. I don't know. But I agree with you in the essence. I think he's going to die. I don't think we see him after this series. But I can't really tell. But there was a lot of things that came out from that. Like, is Wanda the only person who can actually break out of this hex?
Also, the fact that the further out you go from Wanda, no one's moving.
That's I noticed that. Yeah, that's why obviously everyone was frozen.
Yeah. So if she travelled out to there, would they start moving, or is she literally just like she doesn't care about that as far out? Because she says to the kids you can't go further than Ellis Avenue as well, didn't she?
Yeah, because that was the boundary.
Yeah. So
I like things like that. Like I look at things when I watch stuff like cinematically as well, how they film stuff. When that pans, obviously it focuses on. I love that kind of shot where you lose focus on vision. You see, obviously it's clear where he is. He's clear where he was going anyway. But it's just like a good nod that she mentioned it. It's just tied together really well. But I think when he was going out, I said to, like, when he was walking towards it, I was speaking to Kerry, like watching it with me. So if he can break out of here, that's it. He's back. Like he's back in the MCU. And when you start to see him like crumbling and it is heartbreaking because you just know there's going to be a heartbreaking finale. The hex will go eventually, and he's going to probably die with it. And
I'm wondering if it's her way of keeping him alive.
Yeah, she wouldn't have done what she did as much as she was like worried.
Yeah, as much as obviously what she's doing is kind of creating a bit of an issue and a problem. You know, like we're starting to sort of well, the program's trying to manipulate us into thinking that Wanda isn't as nice of a character as we thought, in a way.
They're making you think that.
Almost like she's got a secret agenda of there's something a bit dark about her. I think she's also trying to keep him alive by making this hex thing. I don't know.
Yeah, we know that though, because we know that she's done this hex to keep him alive. Because if it wasn't for the hex, he would not be alive. That's pretty much fact. I think, as we all understand what's going on. And that's the whole point of having the kids there as well. She wants the family that she wanted with Vision, so she's concocting things, making things up as she goes. But as you say, Vision, she can't control Vision because of what he is.
Yeah. Do you think she's going to get like what's the how do I explain this? Like, you know how sometimes people have got a power and they're quite comfortable within their power, but as soon as things start happening that are out of their control, the power gets the better of them and they end up starting to do things that end up making them appear worse. I'm trying to think of an example of another film that does that.
I kind of know what you're suggesting. I know what you're suggesting.
So we're going to end up almost... I'll tell you a good example. A little bit like Daenerys Targaryen. The whole way through Game of Thrones, she was like a character...
Doesn't realise her potential.
Sorry?
Doesn't realise her potential kind of thing.
Yeah, but the whole time you kind of want her to... You root for her to sort of get the right to the throne because she's the heir. But then she ends up getting all this power and starts wiping everyone out of her dragons, and you just think, Christ, this woman's like turned into an absolute nut job.
I've never seen Game of Thrones, but I kind of know what you're saying.
But that's the sort of thing, like the power sort of gets to her to the point where she ends up just doing too much that is irreversible.
She gets too much power. It's like in a real life situation. You give someone too much power and they don't know how to use it, it becomes...
And I'm wondering if this is what's going to happen with her. It gets too overwhelming.
I think it's a point that other people didn't mention is we've got to realise how strong Wanda is. She could have killed Thanos if Thanos didn't rain fire down in Endgame. She's
the strongest one, apart from maybe Captain Marvel.
Yeah, she is. After Captain Marvel, she's the next most powerful Avenger because they're both, real breeding Infinity Stones. So she is capable. But the thing I'm trying to say to myself mentally is don't expect all these answers in the next 3 episodes because you've got so much more to come that you've just maybe got to be open to a lot of open doors, a lot of stuff. I'm just trying to think where Doctor Strange is going to come into this. That's where
she's going to be in Doctor Strange, isn't she?
Yeah. So
there'll be some answers, but not, as you say, not everything.
Do you think she'll be the villain in Doctor Strange?
That's what a lot of people were predicting. Like, why not? It kind of goes back to, I don't know if I can say, because it could be a potential spoiler for the route they're going down, but it's the route they are going down. It does look like she can be, but then some episodes you think, like yesterday's episode, she done it not because she was angry, she done it because she was trying to protect who she loves. And they've never touched on her grief. Like when Pietro died, they kind of went, "No, that's cool. He's dead now. We'll move on." She was just a happy character to go and play. Wanda died. Vision died. Obviously, she got snapped, but you don't really see her until she comes back and says, "You took everything from me." That's the only time you really feel her like grieving. And obviously, they're using WandaVision as this platform for her to get everything out of her chest. Obviously, with someone like Wanda, that's not good to have. But yeah, there's a route I think it's going to go down, but I don't want to say.
I think she plays the villain, but again with someone behind her. I think that's. I really think we're going to get Mephisto, but I don't think we're going to meet him in this.
Do you think it's kind of like the Loki to Thanos? Like she's a bad, but ultimately there's someone out there who's maybe overwatching everything. Because you look at Loki. I don't
think they'll make her bad full time. I think they could go with it for sure, and then they'll sort of bring her back at some point, and we'll find out who the villain is potentially. Because we didn't really know about the big bad until after Avengers, really, did we?
No, it was only announced in the post-credit scene of Avengers who the big bad
everyone wants Doctor Doom as the next. And obviously, with the whole thing, could it be Reed Richards? That's a massive villain for the Fantastic Four. But even if, I think it was episode 2, like the opening credits was all black and white 50s. I didn't notice it until I read a little article. There's like a bit, I think we're in a shopping, like the conveyor belt and a shopping scanner thing. And underneath, there's like an outline, but it's actually Galactus's like helmet. I didn't realize that. It was like, oh, is that like a hint? But it's literally just a black outline. I think if you Google it, WandaVision Galactus, it might show a little picture of it.
He's also one of them. Yeah. He's one of the most strongest in the whole of the Marvel, like huge, everything. Yeah. So he's feasible as well. There's so many people this like that we've not to be introduced yet that we keep talking about.
Because that's the thing going forward, isn't it? Because we've been literally not been introduced to anything of Phase 4. Yeah. But you've still got in
Black Widow.
Yeah. You've still got in that Spider-Man, Black Panther, Thor, Guardians, Doctor Strange. Plus, you're going to have the Eternals, Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi,
sorry.
There's quite a lot on there.
Like Loki, Captain Marvel. You've got all these people in there, and we know nothing of where this is going yet.
I as much as I'd love it, I don't think we see John Krasinski this series. I think maybe the name is dropped, but I don't think we see him.
But she's going to see someone.
She's going to meet him. They said he's literally on they're going there now. So
yeah, I'd love it if it is.
Could be a fake out.
It could easily be, because there's so many questions that I think with the Reed Richards, I think there would have been a rumor maybe about him recording. Like we would have seen maybe a photo of John.
Keep it quiet. They'll keep it quiet.
That would be hell of impressive.
Retro either, really. We had like inklings, but had no idea he was coming into it.
That's true. That's very, very true.
So it could easily be him. And I'm talking to you guys now. I'm so buzzed for next Friday.
I think it's actually the thing. I love my weekends. I love my sport and everything. But those Friday nights feel like the Mandalorian all over again. Just like watching the episode is so exciting.
It's a good replacement because there's not really much else sort of series-wise, that we're all really interested in at the moment. That's out.
I'm rewatching old stuff that I've probably not watched.
A lot of it's all stuff that's some people are into, but there's not like a pop culture thing out at the moment. And this
there's
is
not like a Game of Thrones, is there, or something like that? Everyone By the way, Jane, now you've not watched that.
Yeah.
But the thing, as I've said, I would watch
that 1%.
Yeah. Did you see everyone like scowl at you when you said it?
I'd say if you cannot watch the last series, fair enough. But the first lot is unbelievable.
If I know I'm going to watch it, probably love it, and then I'll get to that last series and go, "Why did I do this?"
The first 5
you'll still enjoy it.
Some of the best TV I've seen, and it's still enjoyable up to the end. Especially the Battle of Winterfell is such a great episode, but it's just that last bit. But it's well worth watching. Well worth.
It's just because it was rushed.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah, because I had a Star Wars trilogy and then got dumped from it.
Yeah, that's karma.
They can't do any worse than
Lucasfilm. You've ruined Star Wars for Jamie and Game of Thrones. So.
To be fair, people ruined Star Wars well before these lot came along.
I was going to say, you said like Fridays are what we look forward to now. This doesn't technically stop for us on a Friday till end of April because we go straight into Winter Soldier and Falcon.
We get a week break, don't we?
Yeah.
And then that's only 6 episodes, though, ain't it? The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I believe there'll be more than one series of that.
I have a feeling Dan might be back for some of these episodes.
I was going to say, Dan, if you want to come back for all of these episodes, feel free, mate.
I've also got a question then. What's your favourite MCU movie, Dan?
For me, I don't want to say the obvious, but I really like. I don't want to say it's my favourite, and James is going to hate me when I say this. Winter Soldier is probably one of the better ones, but my favourite.
James hates that film.
I know. Honestly, we had so many discussions about it. He introduced me to this My Friend Watches series on YouTube.
Oh, I watched it.
Holden Hardman. Yeah, I continued watching it. He got up to one after that, and I thought, has he done them all? But he hadn't. It was like week by week, and he done Endgame as a live 3 hour. You can watch it along or you can wait. But it was about an hour and a half YouTube video, and I cried watching other people watching Endgame because watching this guy who hates Marvel get really invested into it, and he like.
But he's actually a Marvel fan. It's genius.
Yeah, he's admitted it. But Endgame is my ultimate favorite. If that's but Winter Soldier's like.
The thing is that that man actually hates Winter Soldier as well, like James, which I just
that's why he sent it to me.
Because James sent it to us.
I think Winter Soldier is the best MCU film, but then
honestly, I
Endgame or
just worried about your standards. That's
it's so good.
Civil War, I think, is better. I think Civil War, I love. Just
Civil War is like so much better, so much more entertaining. Like,
because I think everyone knew what was coming in Civil War with Spider-Man. So.
Like, we're going well off topic, but
we'll call it a day and we'll come back to ask a lot. We'll do another video on this. Might do a live or something with Dan, and we'll talk Marvel again as a whole.
Yeah. Next week's episode is on Friday 19th, which is actually my birthday as well. So if John Krasinski does show up, then that'll be my birthday present.
That is literally the perfect birthday present.
You told Kerry, like, don't do anything for me until I've watched WandaVision. Yeah,
that's exactly it.
Yeah. We'll definitely plan. Well, if you want to come back on, Dan, we'll plan to do maybe an episode Saturday again. So we don't obviously ruin your birthday by chatting to James and Jamie and their ugly faces. I'm all right. It's them. But no, that's cheers for joining us, mate. That was fantastic. Cheers to you too as well. Anything else you want to say before we leave? No,
James is wrong about Winter Soldier.
Probably Thursday's probably our next Renaissance period Imagineering Park thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that'll be when we record it. It'll be released Monday week as a YouTube video and Facebook and podcast.
I need to watch Rescuers, otherwise I'm not going to be any good about it. Right?
I actually think I'm going to have to watch that this week, so I'm pretty gutted because I hate it.
I can't pass judgment. The last time I watched it, I was probably.
I don't understand. I don't get it. What people can hate about that film?
I say that about Winter Soldier, James, and
exactly.
Yeah, but I can tell you what I hate about that film.
Yeah, but you're wrong.
I like this guy.
He's a regular.
Yeah, he tells James when he's wrong, just like myself. And James is not bit back yet, which is fantastic. I'll tell you why I don't enjoy it, James, because I can't remember anything of it. It's forgettable.
Well, see, this is where I
love Australia.
Yeah, but
I just remember them in a peelback can as a
That's exactly it, but that's the picture.
That's the only thing I remember. Is that it?
Yeah.
So you need to crack on, watch it, and I think it's not going to be setting the world alight for you. Probably won't, but it will. I think you'll probably remember it being when you finish. It was like, okay, it was a bit better than I thought it was originally. That's probably what I'm hoping you would get out of it. But in the day, we're only doing it so we can make a theme park and so you can answer some questions in a quiz.
It'll be fun enough. Whose quiz is it this week? Is it your quiz?
It's my quiz, yeah. I've got to give the quiz.
You have to make it easy.
It's so easy, honestly.
The thing is,
it's literally going to be whoever says their name quickest in the answer.
Okay.
Yeah, I've made it idiot-proof for use free.
All right, let's call it a day there then. We'll be back on Thursday to record, and so you'll probably see us on WandaVision episode 7 before you see the Rescuers episode. Boys, have a nice Saturday.
Yeah.
Have a good one. See you later, guys.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.